In today's tutorial, we will talk about HTML elements and attributes. Although in this lecture, we will not discuss all of them, but the main elements and attribute we will discuss and do practically in the Notepad++. So you will get to know about basic usage of different elements and attributes of HTML, and you will be able to do it practically. So now let's see that what we will discuss in elements. The first element we will discuss is HTML. Next one is body element. The third one is head. Fourth one title. Then H element, which is actually from H1 to H6 level. The lastly will be paragraph, and then BR element, and then a horizontal line element. After that, we will discuss attributes. What are attributes and how we can use it with elements. So we'll discuss with you. Actually, we give attributes in the start of different tags or elements. So it provides extra information and adds features to our elements. So it must be specified in the opening tag. Attributes should be specified in the start of an opening tag. And another important point is that it is normally written in the style or format of name value pairs. Like attribute is nothing but you will just give a name and give it some value. We will discuss practically that how you can do that, so don't worry about it. For example, name is equal to some value, so this would be attribute and it will goes in the start of any tag or element. There are some list of attributes, although there are many, but in today's lecture we will discuss source attribute, href, width and height, then style, then lang or language attribute, and lastly title. So now let me jump to the Notepad++. Let me open Notepad++ and do some coding. So let's start our coding. So as I told you before that you will start with doc type HTML, which means that the version of HTML is HTML5. Then the root element, which is HTML, and then we will close it. So first let me save this file. You just need to do Control S and then give it some name. For example, I am giving it a name is elements attribute, and then save it as the extension of HTML, that is hypertext markup language. I told these things to you before. So this file is now saved with me and I will start working in this file now. So what we will do is we will now use the head element, and inside the head element we discussed this before that in the head title goes. So let me give it a title elements and attributes video. For instance, for example, I am giving it a name. After that, what we will do that we will start a body tag, and all our visible content goes inside the body tag. Now the first element which I want to discuss in front of you is H tag. So there are 6 levels. First is H1. So let me give it a name, H1 level heading. The next one is H2. The third one is H3. The fourth one is actually H4, and the fifth one is H5, and lastly it is H6. So these are 6 levels of heading. Now let me give it a name or text H2 level heading, and give it H3 level heading. For the sake of example, I am giving it just a random text H4 level heading. then H5 level heading, then H6 level heading. So now let me run it in Google Chrome and we will see different headings. As you can see that the H1 level heading is bigger in the size from H2, and H2 is bigger in the size from H3, and so on. So these are the 6 levels, whichever you want to use in your coding. After that, the next element which I want to discuss is the paragraph element. So starting paragraph tag and ending paragraph tag. Now, in order to give it some paragraph or text, I will just simply go to Google and type lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum is just used in order to grab some text, some random text, just generate it and take a paragraph for the sake of example. Now I am just pasting it there, and when I refresh it, so I will receive a paragraph which I have embedded. So this is a paragraph element. There is one another element by the name of BR or line break. Line break can be used in order to break a line and start it in a new line. So if I embed or write it after emit, so it will simply break the line and start it from a new line. So as you can see that the line has been break and it is starting from the next line. We can simply use another line break, so it will give another line break. Although this is not a professional method of giving space between lines, there are some other tags specifically used for this purpose, but I'm just giving an overview about line break. Another element which I want to discuss is horizontal line element. For example, HR. If I give an HR here, sorry. For example, I have another paragraph with the same text, for instance, and if I want to give an horizontal line in between them, then I can simply write HR tag. It doesn't have a closing tag, so we just simply need to write HR. When I save it and go to my web page and refresh it, so you can see a simple horizontal line in between two paragraphs. So this was another element which we have discussed. There are many elements which we will discuss in the subsequent tutorials. Now let us talk about attributes. That what are attributes? For example, I have another element by the name of image. Image element is used in order to embed an image in your HTML code. So image is an element, but source is attribute. As I told you before, that attribute has name and value. So source is sr source, and the image we want to give is our value. So uh, image source is actually a wide element. It doesn't need a closing tag. For example, we have closing tag of paragraph tag because it's just simply give a path or image, so we don't need to have a closing tag of it. So let me see what image I have in my PC. So if I copy this image name and paste it here with the extension JPEG, so let me run it in. So as you can see that I have embedded the image with the image tag and the source attribute. So source is actually the attribute with the value of the element or the image name. Now another attribute which I want to discuss with you is width. For example, if I want to set the width of this image or decrease it, and I don't like a bigger image, then let me set it to 500 pixels. So width is attribute by the name and its value, and another attribute is height. So for example, I'm giving it height 300 pixels. Let me refresh the page. So as you can see that the image has been resized by the attribute tags of width and height. After that, we will discuss another attribute with an element anchor. So anchor is an element. So anchor is an element, and we will use href, which is basically an attribute. Anchor tag is basically used in order to link your text to some other page. You may be aware of linking on different websites, which is all done through anchor tag. So anchor tag is really important in HTML. If you want to link your text, if you want to link your image, if you want to link your heading, paragraph, anything, you can embed or you can enclose it in anchor tag. So for example, anchor tag is an element and href is its attribute. So for example, I want to redirect my text. I have a text, so it has a closing tag. I have a text, for example, I want to go to Google. So go simply to Google. I want to redirect my text, my this text to Google. So what will I type? The URL of Google, which is www.google.com. So when I click this text, it will redirect me to google.com directly. So let's see what happened. As you can see, this text, when I click on it, it will simply go to Google. Let me increase its size a bit by another attribute, which is style. So let me tell you about style. That style is another attribute through which you can actually increase the font size. So if I want the font size to be 100 pixel, or let's suppose 50 pixel, then style is another attribute with the property font size and value 50 pixel. So font size is the property and 50 pixel is the value. We will discuss style after it in detail. So let me save it and then run it again. So you can see that the text has been increased in size. When I click on it, it will simply redirect me to Google. So I can now use Google for whatever purpose I want. Now we will talk a little bit more about uh, style and background color attribute. For example, I want to give background color to uh, my full page. So if I want to have a background color to the full page, then we will use another attribute, the name of background color. So as you can see that Notepad++ is giving me suggestions. So let me use or pick some good or beautiful color from Google. So beautiful background color. Uh, I have a color picker. So let me select this one. It is actually A B C D F B. A B C D F B. A B C D and FB. This is the color code in the hexadecimal format. You can take it from Google. There are many. So when I refresh my web page, let me see. Okay, so we will actually we give it some we have missed the property. So style is equal to background color ABCDFB. Now let me refresh it again. So as you can see that the background has been changed to light blue color. Now I want to discuss a bit more about the style attribute. For example, in style attribute we can do many things. Style is equal to font family. This is a property. Font family is a property where you can set the family of font whatever you want. For example, let me take one font family from Google. So when I go to Google, let me see font family list. So let me take font family. I will search and take one of them. For example, when I go to this site csstricks.com, I will take some font from here. So there are many, the list of many font families. So let me take Times serif. Let me take this one, sans serif, and apply it to my code. So the font family, which is the property and its value is sans serif. Let me save it and show it to you in. Okay, so you can see that the font family has been changed. So there are many you can try and apply to your code. One another property is font size. For example, when I want to give some size or when I want to decrease, for example, H1 is a bigger heading, so I want to decrease it a bit. So let me make it 40 pixels. So it's actually increased. So let me make it 10 pixels. So as you can see that has been decreased in size. So I think 20 pixel would be right. Oops. So this was about font size. We can also use another attribute which is color. When I want to set the color of this H1 heading, for example, I want to make it red. So I have missed the closing quotes. As you can see that the color has been changed to red. Let me increase its font size a bit. There is one another property by the name of text align. If you want to align your text in center, right or left, you can use text align property. So if I want to align it to center, you can do it to center left, center right, left right, but for instance I'm just making it to the center. And when I refresh it, so it will come to the center. uh, the last thing which we will discuss is tooltip. For example, I have, let me use another paragraph and give it some text. This is a tooltip paragraph, and let me give it some font size, 50 pixels. Now if I want to use title attribute, so let me tell you what is title attribute. Title attribute is actually used to give title to a paragraph text. For example, when I give it a title is a tool tip paragraph. So when we hover it on this paragraph, it will show us this text. Let me run it. So this was the paragraph, and when I hover it, it is just giving me a tooltip by the name of a tooltip para. Uh, Tooltip is used for different purposes, which we will discuss later. So, guys, this was all about HTML elements and attribute. Hope it helps you a lot. We'll see you in the next lecture.